Got ourselves team with the red Boomasaur. We got ourselves shirt. We got ourselves G-Few Peachy. Hopefully you don't get a DC, my guy. Make sure you're moving around for time. And Warg Ren. Is Boomasaur Demo? He is Demonology. Got ourselves Brun Core X. Brun, my man. How you doing, my dude? Been a while. This man is the man with the fastest Chaos Bolts in the West. Let's see if they got even faster with all the corruptions. Now, Decap is here. We also got Gert. We got ourselves Morphinator. And we got ourselves Skrala. Morphinator going to be going to first was G-Few. Landing that opener. Morphinator, are you looking very corrupted today? Not as corrupted as earlier. Popping in cooldowns. Bash on the G-Few. As just trying to get the big dots up and running. Going to be early karma to G-Few. It is on a fairly short cooldown. But he decided, you know what? I need to get that karma up and running. Trying to get the slows in the Morphinator. But he keeps power shifting out of those, so that's going to be a Lex up and Morphinator. As the trick gets out of it with Thorns up and running. Thorns coming in perfect after the karma is down. That is going to be a tentacle attack and Morphinator is still running a G-Few, who's catching up on a couple of heals. Is going to be cycling into G-Few's magic. Is that going to be Mally? Won't be able to reflect that Mally. He popped karma into Thorns. He pops G-Few's magic. Here's a Mally. There's actually G-Few should have saved those cooldowns by a hair, so he could have actually had a response back to the Feral. Did live out the necrotics from the Mally, and that's going to be a full-blown Fist of Fury. If Morphinator was a Tauren, he would have been able to... Oh, he is a Tauren. He would have been able to War Stomp through that. But looks like he's going to have to go and get a reset on the G-Few. He needs to re-up those bleeds. He's going to get another bite in there. War Stomp coming in. He should have saved up for the Fist of Fury. Now you're doing what G-Few is doing. You're using those cooldowns on a G-Few can just Fist of Fury you. You wouldn't have an answer for it. That's going to be a reset for the both of the Feral and the Monk. Trying to catch up a little bit of heals. G-Few is down on cooldowns for about 20 seconds. If Morphinator can get a big setup, this would be perfect. Wall is going to maybe hold him off until that karma is back up. Maybe this way G-Few is going to go for some big damage himself. Big Fist of Fury onto Morphinator. Whoa! Huge damage out of nowhere! What? That was no touch of death. He just actually obliterated Morphinator without a touch of death. Touch of death is just too much for this man. Take away his touch of death, somebody. He doesn't need it. That's too much. Decapit is going to be up next. G-Few, how? He must have like insane amount of versatility on his gear, so when he stuns, his verse like triples. Right? There's just 3 times the damage he normally would. There's going to be karma onto Decap with a Twisted Appendage. Actually, booping Twisted Appendage, keeping Appendage alive. What is that play? I think Decap still threw a weapon at it though. Still was able to eliminate it by throwing a weapon at it. But it's going to be Fist of Fury by G-Few. Decap trying to maintain himself the best possible. Might be going for a leap here. G-Few is looking to catch a reset though. What was that? He must have... I need to see his armor, dude. I need to see what corruptions he's wearing, man. That's an insane amount of versatility he's running. I think it has to be Versa, right? What else can it be? G-Few popping off Big Fist of Fury. With a Spraying Crane Kick to follow. It's going to be quite a bit of damage out of this man. Twisted Appendage is going to be popping in, and Decapitator is going to have to eliminate this whenever possible. And G-Few should have some defensive available sometime soon. Lexi, but the Decapitator has a wall coming up very, very soon. Is going to get a port up and running. Gap needs to somehow catch up with this Monk. He actually has the Monk on the ropes. He's doing a really good job so far. Mounting up because he knows he needs to travel some distance. Might as well mount up. Take the moment to channel it. Or cast it. Because if you're flying, going to try to get a Bloodthirst onto G-Few to walk away from the Bloodthirst for just a moment. Or from the Fist of Fury for just a moment. Then it's going to be yet another Twisted Appendage. I think for G-Few, that appendage is actually kind of nice. As soon as it spawns, he could just kind of roll away from Decap. If it spawns, that's his escape. So, because Decap has to go and attack the appendage. He has to hit it. So G-Few could just roll away. That's going to be Decap trying to like change focus of targets into a karma. And Decap is just going to wait. Does he go for a fear? Fears onto G-Few. Has a trinket, has a wall. G-Few is not out of this fight just yet. Decap not with a trinket anymore though. G-Few doesn't look like he's setting up for damage whatsoever. Is going to intercept him with a charge. It's going to be a roll to follow for G-Few. As Decap is trying to stay on top of this Monk as best as possible, but this arena is just so good for the Monk mobility. Catching up on this real fight whenever possible. Touch of Death coming in into an Incap. Zerker Rage is out of it. G-Few looking for some damage, but now Decap is the one juking him out. That's going to be Ring of Boopity Bob. G-Few caught up on quite a bit of heals. Decap is going to charge to one of the pets. Lexium, does he go for the big damage here? Is this going to be the big dress? Does go for the big dress, but Decap doesn't even flinch. Doesn't even pop a reactionary enrage regeneration. He just pops some commanding shout. That's going to be Warlock Hellstone from Bunko Rex. Both of these teams have a Warlock on standby to feed them all cookies. And GFU is looking like he's just going to go for a kill with Vivify. Is this going to be Fist of Fury? Decap having to walk away from it, but not too far. Trying to pop some cool damage of his own. Blade Storm to follow. GFU might be in a bad spot. Decap is sitting at about half its health, but he is a Fury Warrior. Getting a charge into a pour by GFU. Does he have a leap to follow? He does not have a leap to follow to continue the pressure. And GFU is just going to be able to get himself a good reset here. It's going to be Ring of Boopity Bob, just keeping this warrior at bay. This map is just way too good for this monk. Look how much recovery he's done while dampening isn't super high. Into a disarm. I'm not going to see Fist of Fury out of GFU for just a second. Still got his punches and kicks. Spinner Crate to follow with the Fist of Fury. Trying to see if he can barrage at Decap, but GFU is not really looking all that hot. And it's going to be Zerker's Rage for this one. Might be able to get a charge or maybe a leap on the GFU. Does he go for one? Mounting up. He's going to have to consolidate his mobility and use it when the time is right. Cannot let GFU catch himself some heals. It's going to hit him with a fear. So he can't even use the fear defensively. He has to use it offensively. Going to be a charge, small heal off of the monk and GFU. If he has mobility, Decapitator needs to make sure he has the right setup. He's not rolling Stormbolt. That's the biggest change here with Decap. He's not rolling Stormbolt with GFU. He can't really lock him down with a single Stormbolt and get him low. Going to be a misplay of a port for GFU. Decap cannot go through the Ring of Peace, having to run around the corner. Is Decap not playing double charge? Big leap. Does he not get the charge? Does get a slow into GFU. I don't think he's playing double charge. I think he's playing impending victory. Maybe he's playing for more of survivability. He's got a Zerker Rage. Not even Zerker Rage. It looks like Zwen broke him out of that incap. Gets a charge around the corner to GFU. It is perfect for him. GFU, does he have a port? Does he have a ring? He actually might have nothing. Into a Fist of Fury. Not going to be able to do it while disarmed. Decapitator might be able to get some damage in. Wall coming in for GFU. Touch of death on the Decap. Unless GFU can somehow turn this around. It's going to get a advantage onto Decap. It's going to hit him with the dress. Barely any damage has been done. And Touch of Death does finally come in. Charge on the GFU as he's trying to Tiger's Lust out of there. That's going to be the big Dragon Kick. Is there a leap for the warrior available? Looks like GFU is going to be able to get out of there for a second. We are slipping into dampening though, boys. 11% dampening. Summer boys up, Rodriguez. How you doing, my man? Hope you're having a good one, my dude. How you liking the duels, by the way, man? Fist of Fury flying for GFU. Decapitator again having to be super patient. The patience of a god, man. You have to be so patient when playing against a monk, and you would think the monk would be the one who needs to be in the zen. The Decap, I think, is in the zen. He is in the moment. He's doing the math whenever he can. He looks a little funky while doing it. No, big old orc hovering around, but he's being very careful with his cooldowns here. Every ability he's using, he's very careful with it. Might be able to get a charge around the corner. Does get under GFU. Does get too good close to him. It's going to be Bloodthirst. Maybe walks away too far from those Fist of Furies though. Maybe it gives GFU a little bit too much range. He wants to walk far enough where he doesn't get hit by them. Not far enough where GFU can just round out for a massive amount of distance. It's going to be another disarm on GFU. He's trying to get slows into the Decap. He's trying to keep him slowed as best as possible. And Fist of Fury flying again. Decap again. Not taking that much damage. Getting the charge onto GFU. Gonna be poured by the monk. Does he have a leap to follow? Does he go for it? He doesn't go for the leap. He stays on it. GFU setting up a port ahead of time. Mounting up is only going to give him one cast of Vivify. If it didn't mount up, there could have been two. As we head in the 8-minute mark, the 20% dampening is hitting very, very soon. Eventually, GFU is going to run out of healing. Decapitator being very, very careful with the mobility. He didn't have the mobility of a Bloodthirst to get away out of the Fist of Fury. But he stayed close enough. Charge in as soon as things happen. Second charge, so he does play 2 charges. So he does play 2 charges. That was a nice intercept. 1 Vivify for GFU with a Karma. And Decap just needs to get him close enough. Feared. It looks like we've hit in Deja Vu over and over, but GFU is just lower and lower and lower in health every single time. Decapitator, and he's going to have to go through wall. There's also Diffuse Magic, but it's not going to do too much since Decap, you know. There's a warrior. What's he going to do? It's magical in nature. Looks like Peachy GC'd again. No, Lexi about a Decap. He tricked us out of it. Does GFU going for big damage? Decapitator actually surrounded from most sides by the pets. Hasn't had to use Rage Regen. This might be the moment. GFU going for a Ring of Boopity Bob. Does Decap get to reconnect with him? Leap not available by the looks of it, and Decap is super low. GFU might be able to take advantage of this situation. As there was a commanding shout. Maybe a leap available. Does get a leap. Maybe a charge around the corner. Goes for a slow. No charge. Get himself a little bit of mobility. Charges right back in before GFU starts running. Rolls into a wall. Might have been the misplay that Decapitator needed. Needs to get a slow into GFU. Does get it into in Rage Regen right now. I think GFU is done for the count. Try to get himself a shot him. Try to see if he might be able to survive through the Rampage of the Warrior. In cap for a second. No Zerker Rage available for this one. And that's going to be yet another port by GFU. Oh my god, the amount of mobility a monk can utilize and abuse in this arena is just so much. Boopity bop, yeah, he also can get out, throw down the ring of boopity bops, man. That's going to be just so... It's just such a good arena for monk to just kite around the corners. I guess a single melee. It is incredible. If you think this is bad for a Windwalker, imagine playing against a Mistweaver on this arena. Yeah, Decapitator, he needed to go for a Stormbolt or something. You need to find a way to like lock GFU down. Because this man, eventually dampening, I think GFU maybe loses because Decapitator just has so much more sustained healing. GFU always having to heal with Vivifies if possible. So GFU might need to win this on DPS. Eventually, I think he is going to be the one dropping behind. There's no Karma, no wall. Like, once all those things are gone, and if you run out of mobility, Decapitator actually going back to the Warlock. I think he's getting Brunt to like, hey, yo, can you make me some Warlock Hellstones, my dude? I need some Warlock Hellstones really quick, man. I'm running out of juice. I've been at it for 10 minutes. I've been at it for 10 minutes, my boy. GFU repositioning. And I think GFU might just have to commit damage. Incap on to Decap. He does get to disarm him. Gonna be Fist of Fury towards the end. Does hit him with a Dressigath. Gonna be a Touch of Death as well. Touch of Death does commit with a big Fist of Fury. Might actually have it already here. Decapitated going for Defensive Fury charge. Heal. And I think GFU might have him here. Oh my goodness. GFU played a mess around with Decap playing super defensive, but he needed to commit eventually. He needed to commit the damage, and Skrala is going to be up next as a Demon Hunter. Try to see if he can provide mobility to mobility in GFU. He used a lot of his cooldowns just now. Might be a little bit rough for this man. Holy guacamole. I mean, that monk could do damage. This monk would be great in twos. Yeah, this monk would be great in twos. Like, you don't even... Like, imagine two of them as a double Windwalker. Like, nobody can catch him, dude. They just outrun the whole team eventually, and then just combine the cooldowns together into a single Super Saiyan fusion. It's going to be Karma by GFU with an imprisoned by the Demon Hunter. He's going to get right back in just for resources, I guess. But he's not trying to get away too far from GFU. Could go for an interrupt. Could go for an interrupt if he wanted to. Big dress onto the monk. But Skryl's going to get hit with a stun himself. That's going to be Fist of Fury by GFU. Dropping out darkness. GFU bailing out of the immediate. Skryla chasing after the monk as he's bailing away from the darkness. It looks like the monk is hyper offensive right here. Incap onto the monk as he's on approach. And GFU looking for a little bit of recovery on health is going to get interrupted. Got himself a shot him out for a second into Ring of Boopity Bob. Skrala not able to interrupt him for a while. GFU is still looking to get himself a little bit of a re-heal. Wall coming in right now. Might need to make it the play here. Fist of Fury surrounding Skrala. Stopping the I-Beam. Actually super spooky for the I-Beam. He decided to bail out of the immediately. Skrala is still in the offensive while Blur is up and running. GFU might need to make a play eventually. Maybe next leg sweep. How you doing, Remaster? Hey. What are you doing about the second video about me? I'll need to take a look at the videos, man, to see if I feel like they are entertaining. I look back through them and see if I'm entertained by them. And if I'm entertained by the duel and I liked it, or if I feel like I can maybe edit it down to be entertaining, then I'll post it, man. Thank you so much. And GFU taking down Skrala as Remaster with a donor. Real Remaster, how you doing, man? Remaster Rogue. Boys, if you haven't seen the video from earlier today, better check it out. The Sub Rogue Master right here, man. The Remaster. He'll romance you into loving Sub Rogue. And Gert's bad cycle. Look at Gert's. Look at just end GFU, but that's gonna be a Karma right now. What do you? That was a really interesting playstyle you had as a Feral. Just now, just went for like a normal opener, build up some shreds, bite. Not playing the Feral Frenzy, but it looks of it. Are you playing the? You're not playing the other talent. That's an interesting ability choice you had there. But GFU looking like he's gonna survive there versus the Feral. This man just turned around to Skrala kind of out of nowhere. He took down Morphinator pretty quickly. He had to commit a lot of damage to Decapitator after catting him around for certain circles for years. Maybe he was waiting for the dampener. And with Skrala, he just was able to turn around out of nowhere. With Gertz, as long as Gertz doesn't trinket anything, he might be in a good spot. Looks like he's going to go for a Root. Trying to get a Root into GFU. Trying to see if he can maybe travel form out of there. Fist of Fury flying as he gets hit with a leg sweep into a Whirling Dragon Punch. He does get to wall it. Gertz needs to get the hell out of there. He's not looking all that good. Trying to heal at 55% dampener. You might need to get the hell out of there ASAP into Ring of Boopity Bob, catching him. He actually is airborne with a tested appendage. The thing is done for. Does get a bash onto GFU. Is going to put him down in dampener. And Bronco Rex is going to be up next. Dropping down an Infernal. I don't think that Infernal made it. Maybe he has a random proc Infernals too. It's gonna get a fastest fear in the west. It's gonna get a fastest immolate shadow fear. Casbolts offline, and GFU 2 Casbolts back to back. I think GFU just finally met his match as Brun has the fastest cast out there, man. Literally fastest fears is gonna be a Karma and doesn't want to hit into that Karma. Maybe don't want to fear into GFU. Wants to make sure there's an immolate set up and running. Got himself reflect. I don't really know if he can really reflect that Karma. And it's like Karma is at the last legs. He was hoping to maybe throw a Casbolt at GFU. It's going to be Infernal down for the count. And Brun wasn't really able to combine them together with the Dark Soul instability. Still has it in his back pocket. And looks like everybody on Team Blue is leaving. I guess they just watch it and they're like, you know what? I think GFU got this. There's no way he doesn't. Trinket coming out for GFU. As he's getting hit with a succubus, you see a stun into Brun. He trinkets out immediately into a Mortal Coil on a GFU, trying to get him into yet another fear with a Casbolt to follow right afterwards. Into yet another fear. Bring it, Boopity Pop actually stopping him. And GFU using all that miraculous mobility just to get the hell out of the Brun, going for a little bit of a damage onto the pets. It looks like GFU is going to be able to get out of there pretty scot-free, using all that mobility he can. Even slowing down and rooting the succubus if possible. Brun cannot even stop him. Those literally come flag into a Tiger's Lust immediately. That's how mobile this man is. Brun trying to go for a little bit of damage around the corner onto GFU. Maybe he can get the succubus around the corner. Got it slow at least. Brun just needs like one setup, dude. Fear, fastest fear ever. It's the fastest Casbolt possible. In cap onto Brun with a touch of death. Succubus CC comes in. No way out of it. Into a Mortal Coil. Into a Casbolt immolate right after. GFU is super low in health. The Karma available in just a few moments. If he can just get Brun to just start slamming Casbolts back at him, it's going to be super early Karma. And Brun is still going to get an immolate on GFU. No health available at 68% dampening though. GFU is actually out of health. And Brun has no trinket, but he still has wall, he still has reflect, so he's actually in such a good spot. And GFU dies to the pet. Man, he played it to the very, very last bitter end, dude. GFU with a massive nukes and surprising bouts. And next up is going to be Boomasaur. Okay, Demonology versus Destruction. You got the Imp Simp Master versus the fastest Casbolts in the West, man. They're just going to be firing off at one another. Gateway up. Brun is getting an immolate onto the pet. He is playing with Flash. What is it? Flashpoint? It's an ability where when you immolate a target that's at 80% health or above, it grants you a massive haste buff. So as long as there's somebody for him to immolate, like the pets, you can get a massive haste buff with a couple of haste corruptions. And he's golden. Fastest Casbolt right now with Boomasaur immediately into Mortal Coil onto the pet. That was Havoc as well. And Boomasaur does streak it out of this. Is going to get a stun into Brun. Corex to follow. That's going to be a short stun with a Mortal Coil right after, trying to get a Handle done. And a Tyrant up and running. A second stun comes in. Third stun comes in maybe. Onto Brun Corex. And Boomasaur is actually going to go for a Nether Portal, trying to get as many pets as he can. Wall up, he's going to go for Handle done, summoning as many pets as humanly possible, getting the full zoo onto Brun as he tries to go in for some damage, getting interrupted on it. And this man is just actually getting obliterated by these pets. These are the pets that are getting empowered. Not a lot of the imps are even supplied for the Tyrants. Actually all doing work. But Brun is just surrounded by the pets, stuns a portion of them, but they're still on him. They're super extended. Does it reflect maybe for some of the imp damage that's going to be banished onto Brunx's pet into a short stun from Boom? Does he have enough damage to follow? And I think Brun is done. I think he left. Maybe? Or he got killed by something? No, he left. Because Boom doesn't actually get a kill. But I still would have counted. Man, GFU with a 4. That's a long one. That's what I was saying. It's not bad. I'll give him that. He's not bad at all. That's some big damage.